Mission 2 hours of magic, let's give it a go. Ladies and gents, it's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show.
That's a banger there by Chase Rice, isn't it?
It's the best.
Made it on his tour bus. We're very thankful for him. Listen to his music. It's good. He is good. And he's very attractive. So
Almost too attractive.
Yeah, almost too attractive.
It's annoying how attractive.
It's kind of the country music thing, though. You can sing very well and you're attractive.
Sure.
Boy, you're going to make $1 billion. Chase Rice is on his way, although we paid him nothing. That's why we have to say his name before the song is played. I think we owe him that. Foxy, that's my fault on the miscommunication. Last night, Monday Night Football kicked off. And this Monday Night Football, by the way, has been chatted about a lot because of Jason Witten with his hairpiece going out of the booth and back onto the football field. By the way, still got it. Still got it. Thank God, because the Jason Witten legacy was about to get ruined with what happened on Monday Night Football. I mean, honestly.
I'm not going to let people forget that he was not great in the booth.
No, we should move past that. He's a football player. Some people get put in positions they're not supposed to be in. He's an incredible football player, and I was worried about, I don't know, half a quarter into last year's Monday Night Football season that people were going to forget how good Jason Witten was at football and how good of a teammate Jason Witten was. Everybody likes him in Dallas. Everybody likes him in the league. But boy, that was a rough outing on the microphone. On the microphone.
I'll never forget that time he pulled a rabbit out of his head.
He really shot himself in the toe that time or something like that. I mean, it was never ending. And I was happy to see him go back to football, catch a touchdown, still got it. That won't even be talked about, the Monday Night Football thing. In his Hall of Fame, they won't even mention it.
No. Some people might.
But whenever they were trying to replace the booth, there was a lot of conversation. Your boy even fell into the conversation a little bit. I had betting odds at one point that I would potentially get the job. Plus 1,500, but still nonetheless.
In the running.
The name was on there. And it was when they moved Booger up from the Booger Mobile.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, much with the Booger Mobile. I think we all thought that.
Yeah.
I mean, early in the season, people were willing to fight Booger McFarland strictly for him blocking their view. But you pull Booger up into the booth, and I was excited about it. We knew the internet was going to hate it, though. Everybody knew the internet was going to hate it. This is like Super Bowl each week. Monday Night Football is the Super Bowl every week. So there's a lot of talk about it. Joe Tessitore and Booger. I mean, week one, I'm sure they're going to get better. Tessitore's consummate professional. Booger's telling you things that you might not know. You know what I mean? There was a couple quotes in there that were obviously very basic. But, I mean, I've said some dumb stuff doing things, too. I mean, let's give the guy a shot. I'd like us to do that. I don't think I'm going to be able to handle this rules analyst, though. What's his name?
John Perry.
That was tough, dude. Hey, it was like he was scared to death out there. It was honestly like he was scared to death on there. And I think I learned some things. I mean, in the fourth quarter, minute 44 left, when they went back to the second quarter to talk about what had happened, I mean, I would have never known that happened. So I enjoyed that insight. It was just the delivery of it. You know, it's television.
Anyone that's that excited about enforcing rules is going to be a dull person. You know what I
didn't even think you were a cop, though.
Yeah, it's like cops.
I didn't even think about that because Pereira is
he's great.
Electric factory.
Well, he's a little tipsy when he does it, too.
Yeah.
Which, hey, Pat Sajak, Wheel of Fortune, I guess he was drunk for like 20 years of that show.
Doesn't surprise me.
Working formula.
He and Vanna would go do some margaritas before the show.
Good move.
Get out.
On Marks.
Yeah, go in there, let some people buy some vowels. Just
Loosen up a little bit.
Star of the show, Pat Sajak. I love Alex Trebek, by the way. I watch him do a full interview. Congrats to him, by the way.
Yeah.
Beating the hell out of cancer. Big night.
Just a legend.
Game show guy. And he said in the interview that he would never let them introduce him as the star of the show because he's not the star of the show. The questions are, the contestants are, the answers are. But Pat Sajak and Vanna, they are announced as the stars of the show.
Yeah.
And Trebek was asked, if you were the host of Wheel of Fortune, would you have them introduce you as a star of the show? And he said, never in my life, even though I know the entire alphabet. Which was one of my favorite quotes of all time. Just so much swagger. I love Trebek. I after I heard about his sickness and him beating it and how long he's been on TV, I did a deep dive into the Trebek, and that guy is incredible. Anyways, that ref, though, It was tough to listen to. Let's hope he gets better. But the game, it kind of went exactly how we thought it was going to go. Although I didn't expect Drew Brees to struggle early. Drew Brees threw that pick to Merciless, who popped up out of nowhere. By the way, it has to be so hard to be a quarterback. Has to be so hard to be. Granted, I was an NFL quarterback a couple times.
Sure.
Highest passer rating in the history of Thanksgiving games in the NFL.
Yeah, people forget.
An actual NFL stats company tweeted that to me.
Yes.
And I started crying laughing. I was like, what a joke this is. But that guy popped literally out of nowhere for the pick. And then Deshaun Watson and the Texans looked damn good, even with a couple drops early by Nuke that they kept harping on. It's like, hey, can we give the guy a pass? He has 4,000 catches with the greatest hands in history.
Had 0 drops
Zero
last
in
year.
2018.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Let's just. I understand it's a little bit frantic, but whenever he makes 5 incredible catches after that, let's just go ahead and talk about how incredible he is. And Fuller with the absolute moss of all mosses, jumping over a guy on a deep route. Deshaun Watson was a player, man. He looked good early. Then he does that incredibly athletic dive, and the difference now. The difference with the WWE and other companies is the WWE day one, they literally teach you how to fall, right? You were learning how to fall. If Deshaun Watson during that dive gets flipped over and goes flat back, like he's taking a bump in wrestling, like a flat back where he even slaps the turf, his lower back probably doesn't get banged on because he dove, I think, probably 5 yards,
At
it
least,
seemed like he flew while getting hit. That is so much pressure coming down. His back started hurting. Started playing a little bit tighter, a little bit. Still an athlete, still making incredible throws, standing in the face of pressure. And they're going to have to figure that out. Laramie Tunzel, incredible offensive lineman. We already know best lungs in the game. Best lungs in the game. Not even a close second place. Best lungs.
The rest of the line, though.
He was getting beat up. And Diggs, you found a stat. Deshaun Watson is the most sacked quarterback per play in the history of the stat,
Correct.
I think.
On a per-game basis, Deshaun Watson is the most sacked quarterback since the statistic became official in 1982. Don't know if I said statistic correctly there.
I mean, you kind of mix sack and statistic there, which is easy to do, by the way. They're right next to each other in the
3.6 a game.
That's a lot of hits. And I like, though, that Bill O'Brien tried to make the move by bringing in Laramie Tunzel.
Right.
I like that they tried to fix it, especially after what has happened with Luck, right, who's also been beat up. I'm surprised Luck wasn't higher in that list. I guess Luck was getting rid of the ball. But for me, that offense, that defense, that team down there, even Fairmare and Trevor Daniel, the kicker, Fairbairn.
Fairbairn.
Kaimi Fairbairn. I should know that too. He's the kicker. Like, I should know that. He's a good kicker. I mean, and that roughing the kicker, by the way, that's the rules. Like, that is literally the rules. A little ticky-tack, maybe. What if he breaks that guy's ankle, though? Which everybody knows the rules. Even the people that are, everybody on the team knows the rules. Like, just stay away from this guy. Whenever you try to block it, you got to either block it and get around him, or you can't touch him. I don't love how soft they've made all the rules, especially with punters and kickers being considered a defensive player on returns and stuff like that. I don't like that. I don't like that quarterbacks can't get hit. I mean, I think it's a little bit softer than what the game used to be, but those are the rules. Everybody knows the rules. You can't just run into a kicker. So he hits that, and all of a sudden we think the Saints are screwed again. Oh, my God. They lost 15 seconds right before half or 25 seconds right before the half with a missed long field goal. They could have got more yardage. They just got the roughing the kicker late. That's a tough call to make, by the way, by the refs. Then Drew Brees and that team, I mean, they started playing in that second half.
Drew Brees did what Drew Brees does.
And Kamara, they started feeding Alvin Kamara, and he is a animal of a running back. I don't like the
bull ring.
You don't think it fits?
I think for him it kind of does.
Yeah, it kind of
definitely.
does.
I think it kind of does.
Look at how good he looks.
I mean, he looks incredible. And they reference his off-season workouts. I guess he had some insane off-season workouts where he's working on his balance. So he's standing on a ball or something, I assume. Why didn't they show that? Like, I would have liked to
Catch
see
it. He was like juggling while standing on one of those balance balls.
Hey, some of those off-season training regimens that people do are just next level, man. Anyways, 58-yard bomb to end it by Will Lutz after a perfectly executed 2-minute drive by Drew Brees, who had like 57 seconds. That 6-second play where it seemed as if the defense didn't know what to do. They were in like a Hail Mary situation, but they had 8 guys within the 7 yards of the thing. that was an interesting situation that Drew Brees took advantage of. And having it go from 6 seconds to 2 seconds perfectly, I think it held on that too a little bit quicker than if it was to be somewhere else, but there still could have been a second on it.
Yeah, he only needed one.
That's just perfect execution. You practice that all the time. Like, okay, here we go. We're going to do this 2-minute get down, timeout, field goal. Let's go. Practice that. You practice that. And as a kicker, Will Lutz, what a dream situation, especially after missing one earlier. Because in kicking, if you're having a bad day, you can't out-effort somebody. Like when I played soccer growing up, if I didn't have a good touch, I was like, all right, I'll just run harder and play defense. Since I suck with my feet today, I'll just give a little bit more effort. And it's just like that with football. If you're not doing great, you can at least put in more effort. You can run faster. With hockey, I'd assume it's the same thing. But when it comes to kicking and punting, if you're having a bad day with your foot, you can't out-effort anything. So all you can hope is that you can make up for it at the end. Will Lutz did that. The Saints are undefeated this year. The Saints might be on a collision course with the greatest mustache in the NFL. A man that led the Green Bay Packers to a win and set up J.K. Scott for a chance to hit a game-winning punt. He's on the other side of the break. Ladies and gentlemen, a legend joins us. Stick around. It will be worth it. California dude. Green Bay's baby. Aaron Rodgers. Oh, you're listening to the Pat McAfee Show.
We got it.
You guys got us okay?
Whoa.
Yeah, I just had him down.
Pat.
Who's that?
Is that Don?
Hey!
Yeah, I got you, Don.
He said it's super grainy. We can see you pretty good. Can you hear me? Is this live? We're live on the Zone right now.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
It just dropped out.
There
we go.
Oh, boy. Yeah, don't worry about it. Hey, how's it going?
Pat?
Yeah, can you hear
How
me?
you doing?
I'm great. How are you? Oh,
You're a little bit grainy on yours. You're grainy, bro.
you look good on our end, though.
That's all that matters, I guess.
It literally, I mean, you don't get, my hair looks really good. I just got a good haircut, too, so I'm sorry that you're missing that. But, I mean, you look fabulous right now.
Thanks, Pat.
All right. I don't want to waste anything before we go live. I got some great questions for you, though. Wait till you hear this shit I'm about to bring you.
Were you just doing stand-up? What was that?
Yeah, I'm an active talker, so we built a stage here. So, like, the entire, I kind of bounce back and forth between that chair. Not really, actually. This stool, and then I bounce around here. It's an interesting world, dude.
So you're on The Zone and Westwood One?
Yeah, so radio, I'm on Westwood 1. We were supposed to be on 40 stations. They dropped 10 the first day, so we're on 30 now. And then we're on DAZN. We're on DAZN worldwide. We're on in Italy. The Pope could be watching.
What did you say the first day?
Nothing. It was before we even got started. Like 20 minutes before the show even started, we got an email that were like, I didn't even see it. Our CFO got it. It was like, hey, we're only on 30. We couldn't get the other 10 to agree. What?
30 is pretty damn good, though.
Thank you, Mr. Rodgers. That means a lot. 40's better, though.
Pat, do you want to go sideways or just keep it like that?
Can you see this?
Audio problem.
Oh, no.
God damn it.
No! You're just on the show.
Oh, off the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
From radio. Do we know when we're back from radio? Are people just... This is going to work.
Hopefully.
What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up? That's a lot better, actually.
Yeah, now you look terrible on our end. It's okay, though. Don't worry about it. I mean, how do I look? Pretty good?
Yeah, you look great, man. You should just wear that. Take the pants off.
Hey, man, come on.
Hey, Pat, if there is an issue with the audio during the interview, is there a different number we should call? Or?
Do you want to do the phone line if it doesn't or
No, just call back. It'll be even better if you guys just call back in the middle of the thing. Honestly,
That'll be sweet. Yeah.
it's not bad content. It shows a little human side of the whole thing.
Perfect.
Hey, are you still discount double checking or?
No, bro. Give that up.
It's unbelievable. It was one of the best things that happened to pop culture lexicon. You just get rid of it.
Well, they're phasing me out, so.
I saw that Mahomes. You didn't deserve that, man.
Yeah. We'll phase out. It's all good. Oh, shit.
Easy. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here in Indianapolis, Indiana. Not sure anybody saw that one coming. Not even me.
no.
Right before the words got out of my mouth, everything had to change. Ladies and gentlemen, I think joining us from, nope, just hung up. We've had a little bit of a tech issue. We literally just had a 3-minute conversation with our next guest during the break. And are you on?
Oh, yeah. We're just going to keep doing this.
This man is a 2-time NFL MVP. He's a Super Bowl champion. He is a man that is revered as the greatest ball thrower to ever throw balls in the NFL. He throws the deep ball. He throws a beautiful ball. In Green Bay, Wisconsin, currently Super Bowl champion, number 12 for the undefeated Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers.
Wow.
Pretty good, huh?
Nothing about the Baja Mar Showdown?
Oh, and also reigning Baja Mar Golf Showdown hosted by Aaron Rodgers and Chris Paul, that I was on his team, undefeated champion in golf. Pretty good intro, right?
Yeah, that was amazing, Pat. Thanks, buddy.
Hey, congrats
You're
on
looking good, too. Great haircut.
Thank you so much, Aaron. I'm happy you noticed because we have a guy that comes through the office. His name's K New. He just brings the things by. He's a wizard with the hair, so I'm happy you noticed. I'll let him know too that
Anytime, buddy.
his Bob Ross
Swag.
work is really paying off. You're undefeated on the season. Everybody can't hear him. Unbelievable. We were just about to get to it. I wasted too much time in the front there when we had connection, just kind of dancing around. I should have got right to it. Andy's back, by the way. Andy's back.
Just pick up. Just act like this question's kept going.
Yeah, we just dumped it. I said a swear word there. Nobody even heard it. You're undefeated. Opening night, Chicago Bears, electric atmosphere. The first thing that you wanted to compliment directly after the game was the defense. It seemed like something you were very, very excited about. What do you see on the other side of the ball for the Packers this year that makes you very excited about what's going to happen going forward?
Well, I think we're just better on that side of the ball than we've been in the past. We got a couple great guys, last name Smith. You might have heard of them, Zadarius and Preston. We added to the mix. Got this guy named Amos. Might have heard of him.
Pretty good.
Interception to seal the game.
Pretty good little player.
Yeah, would have been better if you'd been on the other side though, punting. But I did enjoy starting out the season 1-0.
You started off a little rocky. Negative 12 yards in the first quarter, which led to everybody saying this. You've probably heard it. Everybody said this. Aaron Rodgers didn't play it down in the preseason, so that's why they were rocky to start. Is that how you feel? Or you said in the interview that the Bears' defense was an incredible defense. They're probably going to give a lot of people problems early. Oh, my God. That was the one everybody's waiting for, too. That was they just dropped out of service. If you're listening at home on the radio, we are so sorry. I don't know if there's so he's back.
We thought we'd come out hot. I think that was the whole thing. We really wanted to come out the first quarter just blazing.
You thought that was going to happen?
No, that's what we did.
I think the world saw that. Did you feel Though, what was the mindset whenever you decided not to play in the preseason? Was that just something like, hey, we're going to do this, we're going to take care of the body, or have a long season already? What was the thought going into that?
Yeah, that wasn't my decision. He said you're not gonna play the first one and trying to play the second one. My back kind of locked up on me, so set me down for that one. The third one, we had a little field issue in Canada, and the fourth one, he already said I wasn't playing, so I ended up not playing any snaps.
That never got said. Everybody was making it sound as if you decided you weren't going to play in preseason, because that's the new narrative, is that guys don't want to play in the preseason. It never got said like, hey, they had an 80-yard field or something in Canada. They did this. You got hurt. Was that you plan in the future? You see preseason as a something that you would play in and you do like? This isn't a decision forever?
I'm not saying that I'm fighting to play any snaps in the preseason, but if I'm told I need to play a series or a couple series, and you go out and play a couple series, Pat, that's the way it goes, bro.
Yeah, literally. I mean, I had to play in the fourth preseason game too every single year. It was basically just a roll of the dice on whether or not I was going to get my leg broken by a guy that was probably going to be playing in the CFL and a guy that was blocking for me that was definitely not going to be playing in the NFL. Fourth preseason game was always a nightmare for me. How do you see your team going forward? You like what LaFleur? You like what LaFleur's doing out there?
I do. He's taking a bunch of average Joes and really inspiring us to be better, to be okay with ourselves first and to be like, we are great already, but then just kind of, work on just the little things.
Well, sometimes you got to dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge your way to victory in the NFL. And at the beginning of your relationship with Mr. LaFleur, there was a lot of chatter because one misquote, I believe, where you weren't allowed to change the play at the beginning. Then after it was a wild scene. That became a firestorm on the internet, by the way. Then after the game, you guys had that magical moment that'll live on forever in his career, literally for the rest of his career. His first win as a head coach, you gave him the game ball. It was like a magical moment. It was a peek inside your relationship that hasn't been talked about since the firestorm happened. How are you and LaFleur coming together?
Dude, we gotta be going the phone here, bro.
Is there no sound there, or was that the question?
I don't think it was the question, to be honest.
My God. Is his name LaFleur?
Yeah.
Him just rolling with a complete dodgeball answer, by the way, is one of my favorite things. Yeah, the whole world at the beginning was like, yeah, these two are going to hate each other. LaFleur's already saying that Aaron Rodgers can't audible. Aaron Rodgers can't change the play. And I would assume that was not how it all went down, because I think even later LaFleur said, I would be making a big mistake if I didn't let Aaron Rodgers make decisions. Yeah. So I'll be excited to hear if we ever get him back on what his answer is to that whole thing, because nobody has talked about Aaron Rodgers and that guy getting along potentially. It's always been the opposite way.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's very, very hard to think that you have Aaron Rodgers, who's been incredible, but two-time MVP, Super Bowl winner, that you're not going to let Aaron Rodgers make checks at the line.
Why wouldn't you? And I wonder why Aaron Rodgers always has this narrative that there's drama around him, right? His brother goes on The Bachelor, and all of a sudden that gets spun into drama. And I think it's because he's so good. He's talked about by everybody, and he seems to be just this cool dude. But the media and him, I don't think have a great relationship.
I think it's the indifference thing too.
Kill him with indifference.
Yeah,
like it makes it seem like he doesn't care.
Because he
Talking
doesn't.
about him.
And that's what Cutler got killed for too. He killed people with indifference too. I mean, definitely not as good as Aaron Rodgers. Threw a lot more interceptions and looked like he didn't care on the sideline. But
Easy. The Cutler didn't deserve that.
no,
He's big time reality
If I had to
TV
pick
star.
a best friend in this entire world, it would be Jay Cutler.
Yeah, you do love him.
I would like to see Aaron Rodgers in a reality TV show post football. I bet you he would crush just like Jay Cutler is.
Oh, just like that type of reality show, not on a reality show that already exists. Like he's not going on Survivor.
No, Aaron Rodgers is creating his. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he would go on Survivor and win it. I would assume he's a resourceful guy. Resourceful guy, smart guy. Is he on right now, Ty? Oh, they're calling in now. We don't get to FaceTime, so I don't get to see him. I wonder if that's our fault. Who do you think's fault that
I
was?
would assume they have a really bad internet connection where he's at in that building.
Well, looks like Todd's putting it on them.
Yeah, you just immediately pointed fingers at the Green Bay Packers.
Directly at LaFleur.
I mean, it worked
right
for
now,
Triple H yesterday. So
And he was calling us from Madison Square Garden. Pretty old place, though.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Also a different place, though.
I don't think there's cell phone towers in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
That's what. Hey, Green Bay was a cool city. I got to go chance to call that Lions-Packers game last year. Green Bay is a fun city. Outside the stadium, too, they got this entire, festival that happens every single game. They got this Mason Crosby owns a bar right there in the corner. I mean, it's a pretty
It's
awesome.
by far the biggest thing in the city, so they should celebrate it every
I think
single
we
week.
have an incredible football player back on the line. Aaron, are you there?
Did you say Mason Crosby owns a bar?
Yeah, it's right across the street from the stadium there. I was told right to my face that he does, unless they were just pandering to me. Is that accurate?
I don't think that's accurate.
Bro, I went right into that game I was calling, too, and I dropped it, I think, middle of the second quarter. I was like, right across the street, got a beer at Mason Crosby's place.
They're making so much money at that bar saying it's Mason Crosby's.
Oh, man. What a great idea.
By the way, if you want to stop by Aaron Rodgers' bar here in Indianapolis, Indiana, it's right down the street. Hey, let's get back to this. This is I think you haven't had the chance to talk about this, and you should. At the beginning of your relationship with Mr. LaFleur, the only thing that came out, it was negative. It was spun negative that he wasn't going to let you audible, and then that got a firestorm on the internet about everything. And you're always talked about by everybody. It's just the way it is. You're an incredible football player. And then after the game, you have that incredible moment where you hand him the game ball for his first head coach victory. It was like a nice peek inside your relationship with him. How is the team? How has it been with him? And what are you excited about working with him moving forward?
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, we spent a lot of time together. It's been a really good partnership, sharing ideas and creativity. And obviously when you see the kind of work that he puts in, that gives some instant kind of respect to the relationship, because he is a grinder. And, he's always, texting me or FaceTiming me or calling me. And it's like, 9 o'clock, I'm, at my house, obviously, and he's at the stadium. I'm like, go home, man. What are you doing? But he's always, hey, what do you think about this? Or, hey, what about this? Or, hey, did you see this? So there's been a lot of great communication. It was fun, when our defense, after JK's punt, and then our defense, holding them there on the last drive. I really, just wanted to make sure I grabbed that ball because, like I said, it's not every day you win your first NFL game as a head coach, and it doesn't matter if you're, Matt Say's 39 or Vic Fangio's 61. First-time head coaches. There's got to be something really special about that, knowing all the hard work you put in over the years to kind of put yourself in this position to finally be the guy, and getting your first win is a pretty big deal.
I am so happy to hear that, by the way, just because of this. Your career has been such an incredible one to watch. So many magical plays, magical moments. And then there was a transition phase there at the end of last year. And whenever I came into the city, into the building there for the Lions Packers and talking to everybody, the future was one that everybody was very excited about. So whenever the negative press came out early about you two, I think there was a lot of people who were like, damn, not this. And I'm so happy to hear that things are going to be great moving forward. You mentioned it, not me. You have 22 game-winning drives in your career, 22. Peyton Manning is at the top of the thing with 50 or something like that. I was on a couple of those teams. It was a cardiac situation every single game. It was like, who knows what's going to happen. But J.K. Scott now has one game-winning punt under his belt. Would you like to comment about that?
I can't believe the flexibility. I really can't.
That's real.
His foot, his leg, that straight and that high. I mean, I've done a lot of yoga in my time, but that looks painful to me. But I think you made a disparaging remark about how old he looks. So I want to give you a chance to apologize to JK if you want. Not saying you're wrong, but JK, I was laughing with Tom, my PR guy here. I said, it's a big day for the defense and special teams when the punter has has more cameras on him than I did at my press conference. So.
It's good for the brand.
JK is a little different personality-wise than you, Pat, but I'm sure I've seen you make friends and get along with just about everybody except for Ray Allen. So I think you could probably get along with him.
Hey, Ray. That golf tournament, by the way, that you and Chris Paul put on down in the Bahamas, you personally donated $10,000 to every single participant in that thing, and then it was matched by the Baha Mar people. T's and P's, by the way, the Bahamas. Hope everything works out down there. But that golf tournament that you put on for a good cause was a beautiful event. Everybody was so nice to me, including Scottie Pippen, who dunked on me. But Ray Allen just was not a fan, Aaron, just not a fan.
Well, you can't please everybody, right, Pat? One of my favorite moments, though, was the kind of the welcome dinner, and I kind of came over to you and I said, "Hey, Pat, know you've been on tour with your stand-up. Do you mind doing a couple minutes?" And you were like, "Nah, not doing it," which is great, which is fine. But then I got up there, Chris and I were talking, and we're kind of going back and forth, and I'm introducing my team, and when I introduce, Pat McAfee. You come right up, and not only did you do some stand-up, but you got the crowd going. That was impressive.
It gets the people going. I don't even know what I said up there.
What does that even mean?
What type of music do you listen to? That makes me wonder now. What type of music do you listen to?
No.
Really? All day, every day?
No.
Oh my God! I was so mind blown right there. I was mind blown. Yeah. What do you listen to? What is? You and your beautiful lady seem to have an awesome relationship, by the way. She was down there cheering on everybody in the Bahamas. Seems to be going beautifully. But let's say you and Danica are hanging out at night, just kind of watching TV, maybe drink a little scotch down into the tummy, listen to some music. What is it?
Well, if I'm controlling it, it's definitely something from the 90s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, big fan of that decade. So I'm gonna keep in the 90s, Foo Fighters, Nirvana, Pearl Jam. Keep it kind of in that, if we're listening to, Spotify or Pandora, it's definitely on, Eddie Vedder or Pearl Jam or Foo Fighters.
Oh my God, Ty Schmidt.
Let it roll.
Ty Schmidt, who you met down in the Bahamas, who's a shareholder of the Green Bay Packers, who said right to your face that you have brought him more happiness in his life than his family has. He's losing his mind back there hearing your music selection. I would like to let you know that.
In a good way or a bad way?
Oh, yeah. Didn't know I could love you anymore. And then I figured out how big of a Pearl Jam fan you are, and it's just, takes it over the top.
Dying back here, Aaron. Dying.
Thank you. Yeah, big Eddie fan for sure.
Hey, is that kind of weird being being just absolutely loved by an entire fan base? The Green Bay Packers fans are diehards. It was 31-0 that Lions-Packers game. You got hurt second play with a big-time hit. As soon as it happened, I was like, not good. That is not good news. But that place stayed filled the entire game all the way in through the end. The Green Bay Packers fans are such an incredible fan base. How has it been playing for a team that will always have your back? Because in a lot of places, their fans aren't that crazy unless they're doing well.
Yeah, I've talked at length over the years about how special it is. I think the one thing that you can truly, truly respect and appreciate is the expectation. Because I know it's not like this in every city, but in Green Bay, there's an expectation of greatness every year. And I think that has been an important factor in the excellence, sustained excellence in the history of our franchise, is that there is a constant expectation and appreciation for the greatness that's happened over the years, 13 world championships, and then obviously the names, Lombardi and Starr and Nitschke and Farve and on down the line. But playing in the city and for an organization that expects to win has got to be a lot more fun. I've only been here, but talking to other people, than playing in places where, making the playoffs is great, or going 8-8 is great, or improving and rebuilding is the focus. We just don't operate that way in Green Bay, and I think that makes it a lot different.
That's awesome. You and Farve, obviously, have been through it, but watching you two interact down in the Bahamas was awesome. Have you and Brett Favre had like quite a friendship build here? And is this a guy you talk to on a regular basis?
Yeah, it's been great, man. It really has. It's been fun to see that that change. You know, go from teammates and be close to then we're kind of rivals as he's on Minnesota, and then just the last couple of years, I just been reaching out a little bit more, and we've been keeping in touch, and it's been a lot of fun. I mean, I have a ton of love for Brett and appreciation for his role in my early development as a quarterback, and it's just been great. You know, we're talking, at least once a week, and having him come down to the Bahamas was amazing. I went down there a couple of years ago and spent some time with him at his house, and I just think that him and I had, we met as kind of older quarterback and young quarterback, and now kind of re-establishing the friendship as retired legend and myself, kind of now the older quarterback, has been really fun to kind of see him through different eyes as I kind of understand him a little bit more. Because I'm 35 now, I was drafted, he was 36. So, when you're 21 and you're playing with one of your favorite quarterbacks as a kid and a guy you looked up to, I don't think until you get in this position can you really understand some of the thoughts and ideas that were going through his head as he's trying to hold on and keep playing, and they just drafted this young kid, and what does that mean for me? And so it's been fun to just be friends again and, just give him the love and appreciation that he deserves for kind of the time we had together and just having him to bounce things off of. It's been really good.
That was awesome. Hey, everything you just said there was absolutely awesome. Little old bull, young bull situation. I like everything about that. Makes a lot of sense, by the way, because in the NFL, when somebody gets drafted into a position room, sometimes it depends on who the person is. They'll say, oh, he's refusing to help the young guy. He's refusing to help the young guy. Or this guy is overly helping the young guy. It's like there's a lot of things up grabs in the NFL, and positions are not in abundance. So it's always interesting to see how those get played out. Your mustache that you took for your media photos this year is one of the best mustaches I've ever seen in my entire life. Would you like to elaborate on what makes your mustache better than everybody in the history of the NFL?
Surface area.
Yeah, I think so. I think
I think the best mustache I've had in my life was probably the one that I wore with the Canadian tuxedo when we went to Winnipeg. I really felt like, and I spent a little bit of time on that outfit, just putting it together, and I felt like I got to a point and I just knew something was missing. I had the stash. I had kind of the, I was in between a couple of jean jackets. I felt good about the jeans and the boots. And then I found the bolo tie. And I said, okay. Kind of like the rug in the dude's house, the bolo tie just kind of brought it all together. Just kind of brought the outfit together like that rug brought the room together, tied the room together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that mustache, anytime you can get it to cover your top lip, you got something going. Now, kind of the only one I've seen that trumps that. I'm not saying my mustache against his. I'm just saying the mustache that covers the top lip is Sam Elliott's mustache. And I've been a big proponent for years of him. Whatever movie it might be, it's made better when he's in it and has a mustache. A couple movies he's in that doesn't have a mustache in, not his best performances, but obviously with the mustache. And Tombstone is a favorite of mine, but his covers both lips, and that just, when you look up the definition of badass in the dictionary, it's a picture of Sam Elliott as Virgil in Tombstone.
If I was Sam Elliott, I'd put that on a quote, put that in my Twitter bio immediately. I'm not sure if he has Twitter or not. That mustache, they just put a picture of it up where he's holding a revolver, and his top hat game is a little bit better than what you had going on in Winnipeg, but that mustache is a thing of beauty. Upper lip decoration is just a fantastic thing for anybody to rock. I have adolescent pubic hair on my face, much like J.K. Scott, so I can't pull it off. I'm incredibly jealous.
I think you got J.K. beat.
I agree.
I don't think he's shaving yet.
Hey, you said it, not me. You said it, not me.
But he's a dad, so he's got that on you.
He procreated.
Yep.
Hey, good for J.K. Scott. Hey.
Big year for him.
Yeah, big year for him. For you guys, you got a pretty big test coming up this weekend. The Vikings, if I'm recalling correctly, big talk show host, did a lot of research there. They looked good early. Vikings obviously in the division, big deal. What's the work week look like this week, and what can we plan for this weekend? And I know you can't talk about it, but I bet on you guys to win the Super Bowl, so pretty excited to see that all work out as well.
Oh, yeah. Did you, huh?
Yeah, I did.
Us and the 31 other teams.
What'd you say? I'm sorry, I missed you right there. I was being told we have to go to a commercial break right now, but we're going to push it like 4 minutes. What'd you say about
I'm not sure what the question was, but I'll just say that wait, what was the question?
How are you guys going to do this weekend?
Minnesota, yeah. Yeah, they're a great team. Coach Zimmer, fantastic coach.
Yep.
Got a lot of great personnel. Stud guys up front, Hunter and Griffin, stud guys inside. Two great linebackers in their nickel package, guys that can cover. On the other side of the ball, obviously they got Kirk, great player. Their running back, had a big game to start. Whenever he's been healthy, he's been really, really tough. And then you have two of the top, receivers, one of the top tandems for sure, and our teammate and phenomenal golfer, Adam Thielen.
Phenomenal. Hey, he hit his three-wood 280 or 300 yards. I watched it. He carried us to a tie. It was unbelievable.
What a tie. Incredible.
How do you feel about that? Hey, real quick, while I have you here and you just did a full breakdown of the Vikings, how do you feel about the tie in the NFL? Arizona Cardinals, Detroit Lions. Here's my answer. I got to get it in quick. I think it's 2-point play. Offense, your offense is on one side, their offense is on the other side, competing against the defense, shootout style. If it's tied after 5, have the kickers come out and bang field goals right next to each other, just like a shootout. You like that overtime offer?
Yeah, I mean, the college one isn't bad either, though.
Yeah, I do kind of like it. It takes out punters completely, but so would the 2-point play thing. So I guess.
No, punters, you got to hold, right?
You're right. Hey, I didn't even think about it. You're 100%
Come on,
right.
bro.
Yeah, it means a lot. You're right. Mr. Rodgers, we have to get to a commercial break, I'm being told. I've been yelled at 4 times during this thing from the Westwood One people. But I want to let you know, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show. You don't do this a lot. You're magical in here. And good luck the rest of the season, not just for my wallet, but also for your success as well.
Thank you, Pat. You're a gentleman and a scholar.
I dropped out of college. But, ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Rodgers. Thank you so much, Aaron. We got to get to a couple breaks. That was awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome.
That was awesome.
He's the best.
I mean, the tech didn't work there early, but we got some good. He's the best.
He is the best.
Let's get to a break. We'll come back on the other side. A couple calls as well. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show.
Right, like 2 minutes or so. Okay, right, yep. You got it. Thank you. Hey, Don, when are we back?
Guy's name's Don. That's a great name, by the way. Can Don hear me? I just can't hear Don.
You can, yeah.
What's going on, Don?
About 2 minutes. 2 minutes
Until we're back,
on Westwood 1, yeah.
and then 55:50, we got to be out exactly.
Correct.
Right? Got it.
So we got 4 minutes.
Oh, yeah, that's right. 55:40 because there's the 10-second delay.
Oh, good call. Hey, Internet, if you're listening or watching right now and not on Westwood, I'm so happy you got to watch the FaceTime failure happen. That happens so much in the entire world that we had. By the way, I thought it was just us whenever we were just small business. It was always our fault. Mm-hmm. The Green Bay Packers, Westwood 1 and DAZN just had a similar
FaceTime issue,
similar issue.
Yeah.
So it's not just us being terrible business people.
Technology is going to technology.
Mm-hmm. Technology is the best thing of all time, and at the same exact time, the worst thing of all time. It's unbelievable.
Sounds like a Tim Cook issue.
Wouldn't have happened.
Hey,
with Jobs.
I will take any opportunity to hop on the Tim Cook
Right.
train.
You're 1,000% right.
FaceTime used to be great.
About what?
It's a Tim Cook issue.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs, terrible dad. Should probably mute that.
Dot.
Belt looked great.
Felt good.
I think he appreciated that.
Rodgers going with a full dodgeball. I think he watches a lot of movies.
He watches a lot of movies.
Big Lebowski one, too.
Big
Yeah.
Lebowski, that's the carpet.
It's purple, right? Purple shag rug.
20 seconds.
That's what I saw the Big Lebowski, 2 weeks ago? It was a purple shag rug, right? No.
Just a
It,
rub.
yeah.
The one he peed on? The guy peed on him?
It looked like a
I haven't even got to talk about Nick's music. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here on the radio and worldwide. Wide on the DAZN app. Awesome conversation with Aaron Rodgers right there. Tech was a little struggling early. But we fought through it. His persistence really helped us out, so I'm very thankful for him. If you could send him a tweet saying, hey, at Aaron Rodgers 12, thanks for coming on the show. That'd be fantastic. That Brett Favre stuff was riveting, and I mean it too. That was cool to hear it from him, honestly.
Well, yeah, because he said, they came in and he was his mentor, and then there was probably a little bit of animosity because he was taking his job, and now they could be friends again.
Yeah, it's good. And by the way, Brett Favre down at that golf tournament, yoked.
Yeah.
He wins a fight against any grandpa. He is yoked. He was hitting the ball like 340, they said.
Of course.
Yeah.
I think he's
he
got that
just
copper fit.
wrestles calves all day. You know what I mean?
Down there in Mississippi.
Rides bulls. Yeah.
They said he spoke at I went and spoke at a fundraiser for Boys and Girls Club here in Indiana.
Yeah.
And last year it was Brett Favre that spoke. And the ask was a 30-minute speech and then Q&A afterwards. And whenever we get to this fundraiser, it was very serious, right? They're raising a lot of money for a really good cause. And they have like an emotional story right before the guest speaker is supposed to go speak. So they told me that the emotional video ran and the story coming together full circle and a real fulfilling moment. And then they called Brett Favre up. He was supposed to speak for 30 minutes and doing Q&A. And he was like, well, there ain't no way I can follow that up. So let's just go straight to the Q&A.
He's a legend move.
Legendary move. And they told me that story on my way to the event. They were like, Brett Favre didn't even do a speech. He just did Q&A. So we hope we give a little speech and then Q&A afterwards would be great. And I got there. I was like, they're paying me to speak or whatever. And then I was sitting in the chair, and I was next, and I was listening to the video that went, and I've got like tears in my eyes. And I was like, I don't blame Brett Favre at all for being like, hey, let me tell you about how I started kicking balls for a living. You know what I mean? It was kind of an interesting situation.
And everyone really dressed up, nice event. Brett Favre showed up in jeans and a T-shirt.
They gave him a sport coat there to put on.
Love it.
I love Brett Favre. I'm happy he and Aaron are friends again. We got like 2 minutes until the Heart Out there because we won a long time. Mike from Cherry Hill, which I'm not exactly sure. Oh, this isn't a touchscreen. This isn't a touchscreen. Jeez Louise, Pat. Get it together. Mike from Cherry Hill, what's up, brother?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Mike, things are going pretty good. Only got 45 seconds left. What do you want to talk about, brother?
Oh, cool. All right, so I'll make it quick. I was listening to that podcast when you were talking to Steve Nash about the 5-point NBA play. And then I was watching some Sunday Night Football, and I kind of had the thought of a 4-point NFL play. So you're down by 10. Last seconds of the game, you score touchdowns, so now you're within 4. So you could either go for the extra point, make it a 3-point game, but then you got to get the onside kick. So what if there's a 4-point play from the 20-yard line, one shot at the end zone, tie game?
We're just adding that, Mike? I mean, there's a lot of other things we can add other than a 4-point play that falls into one situation.
From the 20 seems pretty easy, too.
Yeah, but like the 4-point basket that the big three's using. I mean, I like the idea, though. I like the idea of just adding ways to get points. How about this? You kick a 50-yard field goal, it's worth 4 points. You kick a 60-yard field goal, it's worth 5 points. Now we got a 5-point play all of a sudden, too, Mike. I like Mike's idea. Yeah. I like him trying to change the game for the better. But honestly, Roger Goodell ain't never going to do it here. We got to get John Perry from Monday Night Football to maybe get that one through.
No, he's too busy. He's got to watch football on the weekends.
Yeah. Explain that when you said that.
He was complaining about watching 10 games on Sunday.
He's too busy talking people to sleep.
We'll be back on the other side. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show. did you say?
I said I asked Billy, and he said his early thoughts are the encoders back there chewing up a ton of data, causing FaceTime.
The encoders.
You know what those are.
Hey, I use up a lot of data.
Wait, what's the deal, Nick?
Those
The encoders, Ty.
Oh, the encoders are all messed up? Well, we can't have that.
Chewing up all the bandwidth.
We don't have a clue what's going on in here, by the way. For those watching, we're
no.
live right now. Hold on.
1 minute.
Westwood Live.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because they sell that first minute.
384 gig in 2 days they've used.
Is that a lot?
Nobody knows what that means.
Are you coming back?
so a terabyte
Should we
is
come
a
back
fuck
with the Chase Rice?
Yeah, come back with
Just
the
right
Chase Rice.
into it after the break?
Yeah, as
Okay.
soon as it starts.
So the encoders are eating up all the data.
Oh, should I say play
More
some
than
Chase?
half.
No, just play it.
Okay.
And I'll say that was Chase Rice.
What do the encoders do?
Encode.
They encode.
What are they encoding?
They're the opposite of decode.
The data.
Everybody knows that, dude. Stop being dumb.
Common sense.
Hey,
Come on.
Gumpy.
Gumpy.
20 Foxy.
Did you repaint that room back there?
You didn't deserve it. Oh, we're back.
Me?
Oh, 10, then another 10. Foxy, you got to wait another 10 seconds to play it afterwards because of the local commercial.
Occasion for mental vacation from the heart of the nation. Not your medication. 2 hours of magic. Let's give it a go. Ladies and gents, it's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show.
Thank you, Chase. And you're right. This is the Pat McAfee Show. Welcome back. It is 11:01, almost 11:02 here, Tuesday, September 10th, 2019, day 2 of our live show, working through the mechanics of some of the technology. Aaron Rodgers guessed at 10:15, that went to 10:20, that stayed till 10:45, made us miss a break, almost cost us a lot of money, but gave us a lot of gems in there, absolute gems. In week 1 of the NFL season this year gave us a lot of gems as well. And I'm not talking about just gems as in great things that happened. A lot of great things happened.
Yes.
A lot of terrible things happened. But I was asked this morning during our production meeting, which we do now. We do production meetings.
Professionals.
We're official.
By the way, very new to us to do production meetings. Very. Usually we just roll right into a microphone and whatever comes out, comes out. That's why you give away things like Cadillac Escalades. Just out of nowhere. You know what? Let's give away an Escalade, which is we are still doing this week, by the way. To follow along, watch on DAZN and get the code words. By Friday, we'll be giving away an Escalade. That's been sitting in my driveway for 2 years.
It's beautiful, though.
We talked about Monday Night Football. Great game. Drew Brees was Drew Brees in the end. The New Orleans Saints and the incredible Superdome was an electric environment. I talked about it yesterday. We played down there, lost by 50, but the fans were insane. The incredible costumes, the face paint, you name it. That is a tough place to play, just like Foxborough is, by the way. Now, unless you're the Los Angeles Rams and a ref or two, you can get a win down there in a big game. It is tough to do. Texans showed up as well. Raiders get a big-time win without Antonio Brown. Nothing but negativity. Get a big-time win on Monday Night Football. Gruden goes up. Crowd says, we love Oakland. This is the last Monday night game in this Coliseum and in Oakland for at least another, probably forever, to be honest. Probably forever. It was a cool moment to see that. Tom Brady and Antonio Brown were hanging out watching the game together in Tom and Giselle's house. I said, do you think that selfie was from Tom and Giselle's house? And Nick goes, it's 30-foot ceilings in the back. Let's assume that is their house.
Big, wealthy, handsome man, got a big house.
Yeah. Listen, I got 10 bathrooms. I can grumpy all day. That's Lil Wayne said that, and Tom Brady said that, apparently. Excited to see what they do up there. But I was asked this morning in the production meeting, what are my memorable moments from this weekend? And they actually bought me a telestrator. So if you're watching, this is an actual telestrator. I could just draw on it. I can do whatever I need to do. And I think there's going to be 5 moments that we will talk about down the road about week 1, 2019. Shall we get into this?
We shall.
Okay. I think the first moment that we will all remember and recall, the first moment that we'll talk about for a long time because this guy was paid a lot of money, is Miles Jack punching Kansas City Chief Cuzzy in the face. Okay? Let's talk about why this was not a good idea. Miles Jack, leader of the defense, right? Leader of the defense, just got paid $57 million. Big Richard Nick Foles is debuting down in Shad Khan's Pool Paradise. But if you look right here, there is literally a ref 4 yards away from him. And you can see him making direct eye contact with the guy he's about to punch. The other guy has his arms completely down, okay? He is not fighting anything. And this punch right here that is about to go from his right hand to the helmet is one that, go to the next one, Z, never want to do, because a face mask on a NFL helmet is basically, it's metal.
Yeah.
Concrete. You're punching a wall. People do this when they're angry. People do this at nightclubs whenever they're blacked out. They get kicked out. They punch something. They do this. They break their hand.
Yikes.
They do stuff like that. In this particular case, you're doing the same thing, and you potentially break your hand, all because in the first half of the first game of the 2019 season, just a few weeks after you get paid $57 million to play in games, you punch a guy in the face, which ultimately leads to an ejection, which ultimately led to my favorite part of this whole thing, which was him getting carried out of there like he's Stone Cold Steve Austin resisting arrest. Okay? You got two people walking him out while he's holding his hand he just punched the helmet with as if it's in pain. It's like, yo, man, you got ejected. Just go ahead and walk it off. He's like, no, I'm going to fight it till the very end. He even tried to get back in the game after two people tried to escort him out of the game. I think we'll remember that for a long time. That's my number 5 moment. Okay?
It's a good one.
Now we're at number 4. Ladies and gentlemen, this one is one that I think is also going to be a pretty classic moment that people will remember forever because it involves the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. Everybody talked about this guy being a premier athlete. He's a guy that was drafted in the first round, top 10 for baseball. He was the first pick overall in NFL. His interview with Dan Patrick Super Bowl week left a lot to be desired, but he had so much swag that he was beloved and so much athleticism. Kyler Murray was drafted to the Arizona Cardinals, and in his debut, after being told and saying that their offense is so vanilla in the preseason, don't expect this failure that has happened my first 4 times on an NFL field to happen during the regular season, because we're going to dial it up with Kliff Kingsbury, who had a cup of coffee with Sean McVay. What happened during the game? A.Q. Shipley, captain of the Arizona Cardinals in center, and a right guard, Sweezy, were double teaming a guy. Okay? AQ locked the guy up. The pocket was perfect. Kyler Murray, who was mounting a comeback for the ages. People will talk about how this kid's got absolute grit. Mark Schlereth on our podcast today said if he was Kyler Murray, he would have never been able to flip this switch after how terrible he played early in the game and for the preseason games to come back and just slice and dice Evan Fox, Matt Patricia, and the Detroit Lions to get out of there with a tie. But the moment that we will remember is right guard Sweezy attempting to Superman over Kyler Murray, the starting quarterback for the Cardinals, number 1 overall picks, head. He tried to get over, and I'll be honest, am I allowed to say that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not saying some bitch. The sumbitch almost made it. He almost made it over Kyler Murray's head. And shout out to Kyler, by the way, for ducking and trying to get out of the way. Almost got his neck broken by his own offensive guard. But I think the clever thing about all this is, at some point in the entire thing, Sweezy had to turn around. He had to make eye contact with Kyler Murray and think in his head, I can jump his little ass. Like at some moment, because no offensive lineman is ever trying to get off the ground. At some moment, he was like, you know what? I can get up over that. And here he is up on his tippy toes. Here he is looking straight down at Kyler, by the way. Eyes down. In his head, he thought, you know what? I can get up over that thing for sure. And he didn't. And Kyler Murray almost got his neck broken. I will enjoy that moment probably for years to come. The next moment that really scratched me where I itched this weekend, it was a situation that I thought about as soon as it happened, being an electric one. DeAndre Hopkins, nuke.
Yes.
Incredible wide receiver, top 3 wide receiver. Also a savage, by the way. If you do recall from Hard Knocks when him and D'Angelo Hall at the Redskins got into it a little bit, D'Angelo Hall was like trying to teach him and put his arms on him. He was like, hey, listen, man. And DeAndre Hopkins was like, don't touch me. I'm like you. And then the next route, he tore D'Angelo Hall's ACL on a route. I mean, or
Ended his career.
Ended his career. I mean, this dude is a savage, an absolute. D'Angelo Hall, incredible.
Yeah, yes.
He was probably just trying to teach him something. But DeAndre was like, don't you ever touch me. All of a sudden, a pick happens in the game. And anytime a pick happens, you get excited. Was it a fumble or a pick? It was a pick. Anytime a pick happens, I get excited to see who's going to go and get it. On the Indianapolis Colts, Andrew Luck, when he threw a pick, attempted to break his other collarbone every single time. He was so mad. He did it in Stanford even. One of the biggest hits in college football history is Andrew Luck decleating a guy who had a pick or a fumble.
Against USC,
Yeah, it was insanity. So I used to watch that. And then whenever you see an offensive lineman attempt to tackle somebody or anything like that, it's always awesome. But offensive players don't get enough credit for being ruthless because normally, especially wide receivers, they don't get a chance to show it. If you're DeAndre Hopkins, you're not going to play on special teams. You're never going to get a chance to make a tackle. But whenever you get your opportunity, you're going to make the most of it. DeAndre Hopkins completely belly-to-back German suplexes the guy who picked off the ball. My only issue with it was, A, they threw a flag, which, why are they throwing flags
If anything, the player on the Saints should get a flag for being suplexed.
Something to think about. Hey,
Yeah.
that's something to think about. But I think this is football. Like, hey, we're tackling a guy here. You're tackling a guy. The only issue I had with it, if you look even at his feet here, he kind of opens up to the side. He could have went straight up and over like a true German suplex, a true belly-to-back suplex that you would see, but still the ability to pick another professional athlete off the ground. I mean, he has him up in the air. This is another adult professional athlete. Up in the air, twisting him around, and ultimately dumping him on his back, even though it was a pick, was a savage move. Don't like that they threw the flag at all. Absolutely hate it.
It's foosball.
Can't win with it. Won't win with it. Especially just everything that was going on when they're talking refs. I honestly believe if you would have watched just a little bit of film on Brock Lesnar, I think this would have been a little bit better. Brock Lesnar, who is a WWE wrestler, actually has a place called Suplex City where he takes people. And in his suplexes, if you press play here, Zito, he's squares straight up and over and dumps the man right on his back. You see how he's square there, still another adult flying through the air, but he dumps him right on his back. I think that could have been a little bit more electric, but I like DeAndre Hopkins' effort there. That's my number, was that three? That was my number 3 memorable.
Yep.
Now it's time for the number 2 memorable moment that happened this weekend, and this one is a goodie. Strictly because I have no idea how you think to do this. I have no idea how you go, you know what? I'm going to wear a $350,000 watch. I'm going to play in the game with it, and I'm not going to just warm up in it. A lot of guys warm up in stuff that they know are guaranteed fines, right? Everybody knows that that is a fine. Like, that is not just like Antonio Brown when he missed mandatory practices and then he got fined and he got upset about it. It's like, that's a very well-known thing. Like, hey, if you miss stuff, you're going to get fined for it. There must have been a miscommunication between him and Mayock where he thought Mayock allowed him to do it or something. There must have been. But everybody knows you can't, like, ever since Little League football, Little League soccer, like, you just can't have a watch on. Their rule isn't against watches, by the way, we learned. It's against hard objects that are on your skin. I would assume that a $350,000 worth of gold and metal is probably a pretty hard thing. And this is just outrageous. Now he's sending out cryptic tweets, acting like everybody's against him, a la Antonio Brown. What if everything comes crashing down in the Cleveland Browns organization because
that'd be a shame.
That'd be a real shame.
It
I'd
would
hate
be
to
a
see it.
shame. I'm on the Browns. I like the dog pound. They don't deserve it. But I think this is something we'll talk about in the future. I think people will be like, hey, you remember when Antonio Brown 2 Rolls Royces on his on his left wrist? And the number one moment that I will talk about forever and ever, amen, came just last night as a man who went to Georgia State got a chance to waltz out on the field with 2 seconds left in front of his home crowd on Monday Night Football and absolutely pummel a football from 58 yards to walk off and win. Mr. William Lutz is a guy who is going to make a name for himself in the kicking business. He rarely misses. The Saints are always good. He always comes through in big-time situations. And the only thing he did wrong last night, was in his post-game interview, he did not say one time, for the bread. We will talk to him about that on the other side of the break. Ladies and gentlemen, New Orleans Saints, Will Lutz on the line, fresh off what had to be an incredible evening in New Orleans. On the other side, you're listening to the Pat McAfee Show.
Clear.
That music kind of sucked there. Will, you hear me?
1 second.
Will.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, man, we got like a 4-minute break right now. And
Okay.
As soon as we get back on the other side, I'll intro you. I'll give you an intro you deserve, by the way. Absolute legend of the night last night. And then we'll dive right into it. How you feeling, man? Pretty good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm on a golf course now, so life couldn't be better.
Pat, he's hot too. So
Yeah, you're live right now on the internet, so we'll mute you right now, and then we'll come back. How are you playing? You're a pretty good golfer?
I'm currently in the sand trap, so, I mean, if I break 80, I'm going to the casino.
You should go to the casino after what happened last night. Anyways, Will, I would argue, but I'll intro you here in like 3.5 minutes. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, good luck.
That was great, by the way.
This?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
2, 3. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here on DAZN worldwide. Wide. Also on Westwood One across the country, only on 30 stations. Only on 30 stations. Thought it was 40. We were wrong. Now it's time to talk to a guy who last night saying he was a hero of the evening would be an understatement. Last night, this man went into halftime after missing a kick, probably very upset with himself. That's not a normal thing for this man. This man makes a lot of balls. And all he was hoping for the entire second half was an opportunity to redeem himself. And what did Drew Brees and all of New Orleans do for him? They gave him a shot. He strutted out onto the field with an incredible hair and an incredible mindset, walked out to the 48-yard line, took 3 steps back, 2 steps left. Thomas Morstead had a perfect hold, and whammy, game-winning kick on Monday Night Football with Booger McFarland and Joe Tessitore on the call. Ladies and gentlemen, Will Lutz. Let's go, Will.
That's quite the intro, Pat.
Hey, you deserved it, man. What a massive kick last night. Those situations don't happen all the time. You can't really prepare for that type of thing. It sounds like you're on a golf course. I do believe you are. But what was your mindset jogging on the field before that 58-yard bomb to win it in New Orleans?
It was, like you said, missing that one going into half was kind of eating at me. So I told Morstead before that kick there was no way that wasn't going in. And he actually said we were going into half, and he said we were walking into half after the miss, and he's like, "You're gonna hit about a 60-yard game winner tonight."
Thomas Morstead.
So we got to work on that, but so that was pretty wild.
You're telling me Thomas Morstead going into half after you miss a 55-yarder says, "Hey, don't worry about it, bub. It's only probably happened like 2 times in the history of the game, but you're gonna hit a 60-yarder about to win the game tonight."
He absolutely said that. The guy's a genius, man. He can read the future and crap. It's crazy.
How is your relationship with Thomas Morstead, who nobody really talks about because he's not that flashy of an individual? He's got about 7-foot-long legs. He is a jugs machine when it comes to punting. He doesn't do all the crazy stuff. All he does is produce and show up. How is your relationship with Thomas Morstead, who I think is the greatest punter in the game, and you two have become quite a duo down there?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think he's the best to do it. He's a huge mentor for me in life and football. He's just an incredible human being, and I'm very fortunate to have him as a teammate and a leader.
Let's talk about this. 2 years ago, I've mentioned this a couple times, and this is why I think that you guys are going to be a weapon this year. 2 years ago, the Minneapolis Miracle. Stephon Diggs throws his helmet. The internet legitimately broke that evening because of the most electric play in NFL history is what people were calling it. Then last year, the entire pass interference situation. How is this team able to deal with these terrible things that aren't supposed to happen to teams? How is your team able to deal with it and come back stronger even again the next year?
We're a veteran team. I think, the majority of the team was there for both those 2 situations. And so there's just that chip on your shoulder where, it's each year we take another step and something crazy happens. And, after last year, there's only one more step, and that's the Super Bowl. And, I think with that chip on your shoulder and Drew Brees at the helm, it's pretty easy to move on.
Has that been the mindset? Is that what Sean Payton preaches? Like, hey, you're all miserable, you're all hungry. We only got one more step to take. We're doing this one step at a time, which isn't exactly ideal, especially how we're falling off the staircase each time. But, man, it's just one more step and we got it.
Yeah, that's all we've preached all offseason is there's no way to get over it, but you got to move on. And I just think with the guys in the locker room that went through all of that, there's just you can't have a bigger chip on your shoulder. And the way we put in the work, the motivation from everything that's happened and, something that was out of our control, I think everyone's motivated to finally make a run this year.
Please describe Drew Brees as a football teammate. Let me tell you why. My only interactions with Drew Brees have been when him and his baby were celebrating on the stage after winning the Super Bowl and beating the Indianapolis Colts, a team that I was a rookie on. I thought we were going to win. First half, thought I had a Super Bowl ring. We did not, because Drew Brees and his baby. Then at the Pro Bowl, Drew Brees was like the perfect Pro Bowler. He was like Mr. NFL, nice to everybody, was like almost a tour guide at certain times for people. It was their first time. He was just this incredible human. Is that all? Is he just like a perfect individual? There's the babies being shown on the internet. The babies being shown right now. That was the last image I saw before going into a locker room, very miserable. But is Drew Brees everything they crack him out to be? Is that correct?
Yeah, I'd say he's pretty close to perfect. He's an incredible leader, an incredible person. I remember the first time I met him, I think I said yes, sir, to him when he introduced himself.
Smart.
He has everybody's back, and he'll sit there and take all the blame on his shoulders for anybody. And the way he kind of commands the locker room and his presence on the field is very noticeable, and he's incredible to have as a teammate.
Golly. What did you do to celebrate that 58-yard walk-off last night?
Yeah, I went to the local pub and had a couple beers, but it's a freaking Monday night, man. The town was dead.
New Orleans is dead?
Everybody's got to work Tuesday. It's the one downside of a Monday night game. But we had a good time. I had my future in-laws in town, so we went and had a few drinks.
Hey, congratulations, by the way. Quite a show to put on for the parents of the lady you're about to marry. Good idea there.
I knew what I was doing.
You're on the golf course right now. How's your game?
It could be better. I'm in prime season form right now golfing, which is really bad.
Do you play is this like kind of your hobby? Is golfing your hobby?
Yeah, I think with the amount of downtime specialists have, especially in the off season, I picked it up like 4 years ago when I first got to the NFL. Max Unger, when I signed with New Orleans, looked at me and he goes, "Oh, a kicker, so you have to be like a handicap, right?" And I was like, "Oh shit, I better learn to golf."
He said shoot there for sure. I mean, it was just a southern accent. I picked up cornhole whenever I was playing. That's what I picked up cornhole instead of golf. I should have golfed, though. I feel like a lot more business conversations happen on a golf course instead of the cornhole boards.
You take a few more hands golfing than cornhole, but.
Hey, you take a lot more money on the cornhole boards, though, if you get dialed in. You can get those drunks spending money everywhere. What is the expectations? Okay, here we go. Here's a great question. How was the locker room after that big win? Sean Payton excited, Drew Brees excited, or it was like, that's what happens, we win games on to tomorrow?
Well, Sean Payton hardly smiled. He's already on to L.A. But
really?
I mean, the locker room honestly felt like a playoff game. It was, we haven't won a season opener in 5 years. And so that was a big weight lifted off our shoulders. So the locker room, it felt like a playoff game rolling into the division playoffs there. It was incredible.
I think I enjoy the thought that you guys can spin. Last year we didn't win our season opener, and then the pass interference thing happened. The year before that, we didn't win our season opener. The Minneapolis Miracle happened. Now, since you guys won the opener, ipso facto, you're basically going to go be the Super Bowl champs. Congratulations, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, hey, something's got to change.
Is your full name Will with one L?
No, it's William with two. I don't know what the hell my dad was thinking.
Is your nickname Will with one L? That is how it's just Will with one L?
Yeah, just one L. We gave an L to Houston.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I'm going to regret saying that.
No,
I'm going to regret saying that.
No, that was an incredibly savage line to end this thing. And you deserve it, by the way. You deserve 24 hours of savagery after what you did last night. Ladies and gentlemen, kicker for the New Orleans Saints. He has an 87% field goal percentage, and I'm assuming that's only going to rise. The kid rarely misses. I can't wait to watch your rise in this whole thing. Good luck this season, and congrats on a massive night. Ladies and gentlemen, with one L, Will Lutz. That a boy, Will.
Thanks for having me on, guys. I'm gonna go shoot below an 80.
Hey, why didn't you say for the brand one time in that Monday Night Football thing? That would have been.
You know what's crazy is that's a rookie mistake. I was thinking about it. The second that ball went through, I was like, I'm going to finally be on Pat's show. and then I completely dropped the ball in the interview.
I thought you actually handled yourself very professionally, and you didn't sound like a nerd, which is great for the brand, and that's all I care about. Congrats on another great night, man.
There we go. Thanks, man.
Cheers. Oh, what a good guy, dude. Hey, that L line was pretty classic.
Awesome.
Hey, that came out of nowhere, too. That's one of those lines you think of on the spot, you speak it, and then you're like, man, that was really good. So I've been told that he has very skinny feet. So he can hit more of the ball. He can have a bigger miss because he is so accurate. If you ever see him and like Tucker kick, when him and Tucker kick, that thing is right down the middle, perfect rotation every time. And then you'll see other guys sometimes get a little bit of a fatter ball. It'll look like it's not as clean rotation. That's because you hit it a little bit higher. Your foot's a little thicker. Old Will Lutz, old skinny foot Will Lutz is what I've been told.
It's like golfing with blades.
Yeah. If you hit it, it's better pop. But the fatter foot, you're going to make contact more. But he's so good. He really is good. And they had a kicking problem down there for a little bit.
For a long time.
Will Lutz has fixed it. Good for him. Him golfing, too, just the day after hitting a 58-yarder. Went to the local pub down
Yeah, I
there.
like that move. I like going out to celebrate a little bit after.
Yeah, me too.
Got a couple cold ones.
Hey, it would be hard not to, I think. Right? You know what, though? Sometimes after those games, it happens to me. It happened to me. And I had probably the smallest role in said games. I'd be very tired after a game because I'm just standing around basically the entire time. Then I'm kicking balls into the net, so I'm staying warm just in case I have to go kick a ball. And as I got older, I would get tired after games. I felt like a real old man one time when somebody was like, hey, man, you want to go celebrate? I'm like, I'm just going to go to bed.
It's a long day, man.
They're like, dude, you suck. I'm like, I know. I got hemorrhoids, and this is what happens now.
You guys do an incredible amount of kicking on the sideline.
Because you never know when you're going to go in. And if you're a tight guy like I am, I have to stay warm because if I'm not warm, I can't even bend over. I can't even touch my toes. So I'm just abusing that kicking net worse than Odell Beckham does. I mean, I'm just kicking in that thing forever. A lot of reps. But that's what you got to do whenever you got to be explosive every 25 minutes or so. And then go and stand on a sideline again, cheer on everybody, and then just go hang out with your kicking net.
You ever get on the bike?
No. I didn't want to do cardio in the middle of the game. That's why I chose kicking balls. Let's get to a break. We'll get to some calls on the other side. We got Peyton, Matt, Jimmy, Justin, and Dylan. We'll try to hit all you boys. And then we got Harrison Smith, 11:45. Then we're wrapping it up. If you're on the Twitter, hashtag Pat McAfee Show Live. We'll answer some questions during the break. If you're watching on DAZN USA, we appreciate you so much. We're back to the Pat McAfee Show. What's the song called, Nick?
This is the Texas Ranger. Mean and moody, swampy southern rock.
I like that.
You doing this at all?
What is it?
Number 4.
Oh, yeah, I probably should, huh? Probably should, huh?
Yeah, that's pretty big.
I think it'll go.
Pretty good one.
Maybe. I don't know. What do I know?
What's number 4?
Put it
Oh,
in.
yeah. That was pretty good.
I think so.
Set looks good.
It does,
It does.
doesn't it?
Adding the jersey. Clutch.
Telestrator's awesome.
You want a question, Pat?
Sure.
It's from Zelos Gaming. If Aaron Rodgers asked you to punt for Green Bay at any time in your career, would you have to say yes?
That's a great question. Honestly, that's a great question. And the answer is no. I love Aaron Rodgers a lot. But to get back in the punting game, that means I have to do a lot of things. Drop the vitamins, start exercising again. And these are just a lot of things that mentally and physically, me and my body are completely past.
You're past that.
We thought about giving it a run, didn't we?
No, yeah.
Thought about
Yeah.
It was a serious deal.
I was in it too. A couple months. We're
Big
back.
time.
We're back. We're back. We're back. We're going to go do this. We're going to go do that. And then that plane trip home where my knee just blew up, my body and I had a real conversation. It's like, hey, bub, we're done with this shit. But I appreciate Aaron Rodgers'
Some
friendship.
big balls, too.
Oh, yeah.
I was hitting some big balls. It was nice to just fall right back into it, by the way, and be like, yeah, still got it. If I need it,
Yeah.
still got it.
Well, and the door's always open for you in Green Bay if you ever want to come.
No, J.K. Scott just had a kid. He's going to have to work for a long time.
What Ty's saying is he'll cut him.
I mean, I own
As
the
an
team,
owner.
You know,
Oh,
He's
yeah, you
willing
were.
to
door's
cut
always
JK.
open for you. I'm telling you that right now.
Hey, it sounded like you almost freaked him out there with your love for him.
No, I mean he knows. He knows. He could
Ty?
sense it in the Bahamas.
Hey, Ty walked up to Aaron Rodgers blacked out drunk in the Bahamas with a mustache too. Ty had crashed a golf cart.
I didn't crash it.
Pretty
close. I screeched the tires real good. Though.
Didn't creep him out at all?
No, well, he didn't hear that. He didn't know that he had crashed the golf cart already.
No, I meant the mustache.
No, so he likes a mustache. He respects a good mustache.
nice.
Everybody else, by the way, in the tournament was calling him a creep. Everybody was like, your mustache is creepy. And Ty would literally tell them,
Yeah, I grew it out so Aaron could see it down here and tell me I had a great mustache.
yeah, and he would look at the people that were telling him creepy because he has a mustache, and he'd be like, I don't care what you think about the mustache. I only grew this mustache so Aaron Rodgers would see my mustache. So he walks up to Aaron, blacked out drunk. I'm sitting at lunch with him. It's lunch, by the way. This is probably 12:31.
Still drunk from the night before.
Ty walks up to him, and he's like, Mr. Rodgers, Ty, nice to meet you, whatever. And Aaron Rodgers, I swear to God, goes, incredible mustache, sir. And Ty goes, like hammered drunk. And then he told him, he said, you've brought more happiness to my life than any of my family members, so thank you for everything.
true.
And Aaron was like, hey, you got it, bub. And I was like, oh, this is the producer of my show. I may or may not be pretty intoxicated right now, but big fan.
Well, I mean, what are you going to do when you're on vacation?
It wasn't vacation, Diggs. See, that's the difference, okay? That was a work trip.
Hey, I still did all my duties.
Yeah, you did. Even better, some would
Yeah,
say.
you could argue.
I'll just never forget that video of you walking through the airport after being drunk the entire trip and having to do all that work, and you're just like over it.
Well, and his shins were.
Yeah, my legs were like
sunburned,
bubbling,
the most burnt
and
thing of all time.
Yeah. All right, how much time we have till we're back?
Coming up on 30 seconds.
Oh, it's quick. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
You're pretty good at that thing already.
That was fun.
I only know a couple of the tools.
I mean, erase and draw.
Yeah, that's
For
pretty
those
much the
watching,
two big ones.
It's very difficult to do a telestrator and remember, like, oh, there's a radio show happening too. People are in their car, like, oh, he's saying this is happening.
What the hell is this guy talking about?
I don't remember that play at all. There's supposed to be memorable moments. Zito was just plug and place in pictures too. That was incredible.
Crushing.
Crushing. I wish I could play the guitar. We're back! You're listening to incredible guitar play by
We have no idea. Oh, I'm sorry. It's Adam Drake.
Adam Drake. Getting a little frisky with the fingers on the... What's it called?
That's American Muscle, baby. Classic driving 1970s West Coast rock with a funky swagger.
I didn't feel that at all, but I like the description. Let's go to Jimmy in Atlanta. Jimmy in Atlanta, what's going on, bub?
Hey, what's going on, man? Let me start off by saying it's an absolute honor to be talking to one of the greatest punters in NFL history, man.
Oh, thank you. Some would say the...
Probably
but
a future
they're
Hall of Famer.
I mean, we'll see, but I appreciate that, Jimmy. You're scratching me right where I itch to get this thing started. What do you want to talk about?
Oh, man, I just want to talk about how I knew Antonio Brown was going to sign a one-year deal with the Patriots before Adam Schefter.
How'd you know?
I had a source down there in New England, man.
Up there.
Down there, up there, you know.
Well, no, I mean, you're in Atlanta, Georgia. I think by...
It was up. You're right. You're right.
Well, and also Atlanta, by the way, from our experiences, my research with Evan Foxy and listening to rap songs, there's a lot of snow down there in Atlanta, so you guys could think you're very north with the blizzards that roll through every club that we were at.
That was it, man. That was it.
Okay, let's talk.
It's confusing. It's winter all the time down here.
Who is the person? Are you like in school or something? It sounds like you're whispering right now, Jimmy. Are you at home?
Yeah, I'm at home. I'm just hanging out on this beautiful Tuesday, hanging out at the home.
We appreciate you, Jimmy. What was your inside source in Atlanta or in New England?
I can't give away the source, but I got to keep it confidential on that one,
Well, Jimmy, if you hear anything else, let us know. Like if Tom Brady's retiring, please let us all know. We'd like to break that. Speaking of the Antonio Brown trade, shout out to Jimmy there, by the way. And if our research is anywhere near accurate, Jimmy had just plowed through at least an O small. Foxy and I were down in Atlanta for a wedding.
Yep.
And we went out, and everywhere we walked, there was just people pulling out entire sandwich bags of. It was everywhere. I thought we were past that drug. I guess not down in Atlanta.
They just offered it to us everywhere we went.
Walking down the street, Uber driver pulls over.
Didn't know that was a thing still.
Didn't know, but we found out.
Yeah.
Speaking of finding out, I've done some investigating here on the Antonio Brown situation.
Good.
Because I'm so confused by it all. The Andrew Luck situation, still doing a lot of investigating because that is also confusing as hell to me. I understand that his joy was taken from him, and I can understand how he was so beat up and how it was a tough thing. But he's so good at football, and he seemed like he really loved football, Andrew Luck. I didn't fully comprehend the retire. I hope he finds his happiness again. I'm not sure if he ever plays, but I was confused by that. The Antonio Brown situation. Jeez, Gumpy. Screaming back there. Take it easy. The Antonio Brown situation, very confusing to me, all of it. And when I started piecing things together, obviously the video I put on the internet went pretty large.
Yeah.
I started getting people that were texting me that had been around Antonio Brown before, very close with Antonio Brown. And they were like, hilarious video, probably not that far from the truth.
Oh, here we go.
And then as it started spinning, it really was. It really all was kind of coming out. You know, he said he met with the social media people to figure out how to get out, blah, blah, blah. When he saw his video, he called his grandma. They freed me, free at last, the whole thing. I think as my investigation decided to turn a little bit, what I learned was the people that are around Antonio Brown are hardworking people. Like Antonio Brown is a very hardworking guy. Absolutely loves football, is what I was told. Loves football, loves working his ass off, absolutely loves everything. But he has such a large chip on his shoulder that anytime he feels jaded or slighted, it's over. It's absolutely over. So in Pittsburgh, something happened where he decided, these people are not helping me. These people are trying to hurt me. They're trying to ruin my life. They're trying to take away everything that I've worked my ass off for, all this stuff. I just want to play football. So I think he has a chip on his shoulder that is so large that if he feels jaded at all, it's like, all right, to hell with this guy, which, by the way, I kind of respect because I feel the exact same way in a much smaller way. Yeah. I don't mind that. But I think the way it's all kind of been orchestrated and covered and the way everything's happened, it's like, man, that's a tough look, though. That's a tough look. Everybody that I've talked to that knows Antonio Brown said he's a very misunderstood individual, like very, very misunderstood. The narrative of Antonio Brown doesn't always fit the narrative that is being broadcasted about Antonio. A lot of negative things. He said it's not like that. It's not all drama. He just has this way that whenever you're against him, it's over. Which leads me to this question. In New England, is it because that is a regime that has had a lot of success? Mm-hmm. Their resume is one that's the greatest of all time. They're a dynasty. So if Bill Belichick or Tom Brady or McDaniels or anybody else who's working with him tells him something, instead of feeling slighted or feeling like that person's against him, does he immediately think, you know what? These people are right. They've won before. I'm going to listen to what they say and run with it. Because when Mayock's yelling at you, he has no resume. Mayock has no resume, just like when Mangini went to Cleveland. So whenever they start acting a certain way, there are some players, not all players, but some players go like, how do I have any idea that what you're saying is right? You haven't won a single game, but if Belichick does it, it's like, okay, this must be something. Like if Belichick wants you to work out at 5 a.m. because he heard through science or something, not that he would, but you'd be like, all right, if Belichick's saying it, this guy is the greatest coach of all time, I'll go and do it. If somebody who's never proved anything is saying something, it's going to be a lot easier to say, the hell are you talking about? I am not doing that. And I think that's why he will succeed in New England. And in the past, he has tried to get out of a situation because he's felt jaded or slighted. That's what I think, personally.
It'll be interesting to see because, by all counts, we've heard that Tom Brady can be yelled at in that locker room, in the film room, stuff like that, which gives him the ability to yell at people on the sidelines. I've seen him chew out Edelman and everyone else. I want to see the first time that AB does something wrong, if he chews him out, how he reacts.
AB chews him out, though. In Antonio Brown's mind, he's like, well, not only is this guy like adopted me, had me living in his house, but he's also the greatest quarterback of all time. Let's assume what he's saying is accurate. I'm not sure. I hope so. But everybody I talked to, numerous people that I've talked to that have been very close with Antonio Brown have said, misunderstood guy, works very, very hard, but if he feels like you've jaded him or slighted him, it's over. And it's like, you just got to hope that that doesn't happen. I hope I didn't do that.
Yeah, 'cause I wouldn't imagine anybody at New England's going to tiptoe around that and do a little happy dance for him. You know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting to see how he interprets this. He should interpret the way you're saying, but will he?
And he doesn't do himself any favors when he does feel jaded. His reactions to when he's jaded, how he responds, have not been the best. I mean, he could handle it in a better way, I believe.
Well, I mean, it's all going to change potentially in New England. Him and Tom Brady are getting real tight. I mean, the Antonio Brown news will be one that'll carry throughout the season because what's he got to do? He's got to come out and play and catch for 180 the first week.
Against Miami.
He's literally Julian Edelman and Dorsett in one player.
I mean, it's probably the most talented duo in the history of football.
Hey,
right?
great call with that, actually. Most combined Pro Bowls from a quarterback to wide receiver since Jerry Rice, Steve Young.
That's wild.
21 Pro Bowls combined between those two. NFL record, most in the history of the NFL for a QB wide receiver pairing. And everybody's wondering, is it going to work out? Is it going to work out? I'm betting that Antonio Brown, even though he had this before, not only does he get a chance to play for a ring and play with the greatest of all time and build his resume before he goes and gets paid somewhere else, now he literally has 30 million reasons why.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, let's not forget it was all good when he first got to Oakland, too. Him and Derek Carr had that bro-off when they hung out at Derek Carr's house.
What happened, you think?
But like you said, it could be just actually practices started. He was like, oh, no.
I think it was the fines. I think he really honestly didn't expect to get fined for missing practice.
Which is an interesting thing because everybody knows no matter what team you're on, if you miss mandatory things, you're going to get fined. I'm assuming that Antonio was under the understanding that he and Mike Mayock were like, yep, I'm allowed to miss this stuff. Let's move forward, though. We got a great guest right now.
Oh.
A guy who's a freak athlete, safety for the Minnesota Vikings.
Nice.
A man who is the third best pro football focus rated safety in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, Harrison Smith. Harrison, what's going on, bub? Well, I'll go fornicate myself, and we'll just keep it moving forward. Mr. Harrison Smith, are you there? That's a big no, dog. Anyways, Harrison Smith, incredible athlete. Incredible athlete. Excited to have him on. Thielen.
Hello?
Mr. Harrison Smith, how are you?
Oh, my bad. I think I was muted.
You know what happened earlier? We had Mr. Rodgers on who you're playing this weekend, and his
That's
phone.
why I was muted.
He said glowing things to say about you. Incredible start for the Minnesota Vikings, by the way. Congrats on a throttling of the Atlanta Falcons. This weekend, you have Aaron Rodgers. What is it like preparing for these incredible quarterbacks, Matt Ryan and Aaron Rodgers? What are the things you look into? Because you're basically the eyes in the sky back there as safety.
Yeah, you basically just start with the basics, the formations, things they like to do. They're both premier quarterbacks, but Aaron's a guy that we see a lot, and he adds the dimension of his athleticism, his ability to extend plays and then just make crazy throws. So you're really never done covering until the play's over.
A couple years ago, the Minneapolis Miracle happens to the Saints. Then last year, a little bit of struggle. This year, though, it seems as if all things are clicking in Minnesota. What's the difference, and why did you guys look so damn good in that first outing?
Well, it's just week one, so let's not get carried away. But we definitely did. We definitely did come out swinging. Opening up with a sack on the first play, getting some turnovers early, a block punt. So those things are yeah. I know you don't like those, but those are big. Getting up early on teams, getting up a few scores, and then you can kind of dictate how the game goes.
Adam Thielen said, I think I asked him who his favorite player on the team was. He said Kirk Cousins, and that's directly because Kirk Cousins throws him the ball.
That's mandatory.
Yes, it is as a wide receiver. But he said your name next, and I found it so interesting. As a Caucasian safety in the NFL, there's not a lot of you left. What makes you such an incredible teammate and football player in your eyes, you think?
Just get to hype myself up here.
Thielen hyped you up first, and you're just kind of padding on.
Well, I mean, I kind of have the same respect for Thielen because he came into the league, undrafted guy. I know everyone always hears the story, but he was an awesome special teams player for a couple years, and he was blocking punts and blocking people and doing the dirty work that nobody saw. And then when he got his chance to play receiver, it was just the same thing. So it wasn't a surprise to any of us. And, I've always kind of tried to play like that too. If I'm out there on special teams, I played a lot early in my career. I tried to be the best at that. Just hustle, want to, preparation, all the same stuff you hear. But I just love the game. So if I'm on the field in any capacity, I love what I'm doing, and I think that carries over to the performance aspect of it.
What's that locker room like? You guys got cornhole boards in there? Is there music? Who's controlling the music? What's it like?
Music goes back and forth. It's normally pretty heavily dominated by the hip hop and rap game.
Yeah.
Occasionally you'll get like a White Boy Wednesday, some country, some techno, but our locker room's pretty cool. There's a lot of different personalities and guys who interact with one another. That's not how it is everywhere. It's kind of like offense and defense hanging out, and then you got your specialists doing their own thing. Who's been a great addition is Britton Colquitt. He's a lively personality that's brought some juice to the locker room.
And he's a hell of a punter. Whatever they cut him.
Yeah, which is a good it's a good addition as well.
Yeah, I think if you suck at your job, you can't really talk much in the locker room. That's real, though. Like when I was young, I was terrible at kicking balls, and I was the most quiet person in the locker room. Then once you get good, it's like, all right, I feel like I can speak.
I kind of feel that. I was very quiet when I came into the room and kind of figured out my role first as well.
Absolutely. Diggs got a question for you. This guy's a big-time degenerate. So
Yeah, you talked about listening to rap and hip-hop in the locker room. Have you heard the Lizzo song where she's got a new man on the Minnesota Vikings? Can you just let us know who that is? Or
We've been after that since the song got popular, especially in the DB room, because that's where normally the suspects start in the DB room. And so we're hot on the case. We're going to figure it out. But I think that song was recorded a few years ago.
Okay.
So, there could be some former guys out there as well.
Minnesota, that stadium you guys have is beautiful. What is the atmosphere like in Minnesota now that the team's kind of coming together? You got a great fan base. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's I think with the stadium, they built it to kind of fit the Minnesota vibe, and it's just it's downtown, but it just fits the area, with all the glass, and it's just kind of a cool look. And then it also just really contains noise, and it gets that noise echoing and gets crazy loud on game days. Even guys that have come here from other teams, they always say like, man, stadium is it's pretty wild. I'm not sure I've played in a place like it. So, I think there's a reason why it's held in such high regard.
How about that damn Viking chant that happens out there? It is insanity in that building.
Yeah, it is. When you get those close games in the fourth quarter and there's a little break in the action, they get that going. I think it's, it just gets the juice going, and then you got the horn going. It's kind of, something out of the Game of Thrones type.
It's like that
type shows.
It's like a damn haka dance with the intimidation. when the entire crowd is clapping in symphony, basically, and you see that big ass Viking with that long hair. I mean, it's just it's a full scene. What is it like? Kirk Cousins has come to the team. A little bit of a rocky start. A lot of things are said about Kirk Cousins. What has it been like watching Kirk Cousins kind of grow into a full Minnesota Viking these last couple of years?
It's been great, and he's, when I was talking about the locker room, I think he's another guy who, just a really interesting person and well-rounded guy, and guy who wants to do things right, but also, this big-time premier quarterback with this huge contract, and he's, he'll mix it up with anybody on the team, talk about anything to anybody, and just having a personality like that, I think, is great at the quarterback spot because, that's not how it is everywhere either. And he's a guy that we really love being around and love playing with. He's going to go out there and he's going to die for first downs and get the ball to his playmakers. So, I think we're fortunate to have him.
Hey, I appreciate the hell out of you, sir. I've heard nothing but great things. You handled yourself in this interview makes me like you even more. I'm gonna buy a Harrison Smith Pro Bowl jersey because you're going to another one this year. Good luck this season. I can't wait to talk to you again, and thank you so much for your time, my brother.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, thank you, Harrison. All right, Harrison Smith. Okay. Hey, not a bad little Tuesday here.
Not a bad little Tuesday.
We debuted Mr. Telestrator.
Yep.
Hard to listen to on the radio. Can see it on the internet. We gave away a couple more code words to give away the Escalade. Will Lutz talked about the 58-yard game winner. We covered the Antonio Brown situation. We covered Monday Night Football. And Harrison Smith right there just told us basically everything we need to know about the Minnesota Vikings.
And Mr. Rodgers.
And Mr. Rodgers. Let's not even talk about Aaron Rodgers coming in here and talk about him and Brett Favre. Hell of a Tuesday. We're so thankful that you choose to listen to us. We might be new to your daily routine. We hope to remain a constant. And by that, I mean, I don't think we're going anywhere for a long time. A lot of people have invested a lot of money in this operation outside of this building, and it's our job not to mess it up. So from myself, Todd McComas, Anthony DeGilio, Franklin Moraldo, Evan Fox, Jose, Zito, Perez, Ty Schmidt, and Gumpy, and everybody else from DAZN, Westwood One, the whole world. We can't thank you enough, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Hashtag Pat McAfee Show Live if you'd like to get any questions in. Gumpy will be scouring that. Also, we'll give away some free merch if you make us laugh on the internet. Hashtag Pat McAfee Show Live. Cheers. Have a great Tuesday. This has been the Pat McAfee Show.